Welcome back to the O, and today we have a special episode for you guys.
Today we will be debating the best restaurants in Westborough.
Today we're bringing on a special guest, Drew Gray. Thanks for joining us, Drew.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So the criteria we'll be judging these restaurants are quality of the food, quality of the service, and we factor in the price a little bit.
So I'll go first. My number one restaurant in Westborough, I think this is going to be a little bit of an unpopular take, but I'm going to have to go with Sabatini's right in downtown Westborough.
Interesting.
My favorite restaurant.
It's an L take.
Yeah, not a huge fan of that take there, Shawn.
What is your reasoning for Sabatini's
Well,
at
all right.
one?
First of all, best pizza in Westborough, hands down.
I would agree with that.
It's the best pizza in Westborough, especially for the price. It's cheaper than most other places, and I just think it's better.
See, for me personally, I used to go to Sabatini's a lot and get Sabatini's, but I just feel like I had one bad experience there, and then I just hadn't gone since.
I will say I used to go there all the time with Jake when we were growing up. I haven't been in a while, but I think it's a tier above Westborough House Pizza in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
I would agree with
Definitely,
that, yeah.
definitely.
The thing that would stop it from being higher up for me is, besides the pizza, what else do they offer, Shawn?
Well, they have a lot of good stuff. I love the sandwiches there, but if not a huge, they have a lot of different sandwiches. If you're not a sandwich person, I can see why you wouldn't like it there. But actually, something that I didn't even know about, they have cannolis. They have very good cannolis. I say, if you like cannolis, get a cannoli from Sabatini's.
At my number one spot, I had Arturo's. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I did as well. If you want to talk a little more about that, though.
Yeah, Arturo's, really cannot go wrong. Probably the best Italian food in town. You walk in, and it's night and day, the best, scenery in town. It looks like a 5-star restaurant in Westborough conditions.
Yeah, it definitely does. I might be a little biased in how much I'm going to praise it. I did used to work there, but I do think the food, it really blows everything else in Westborough. Nothing else comes close, in my opinion. The chicken parmesan is fantastic. The meatballs and linguine are fantastic.
Absolutely.
They have great dessert, especially that chocolate cake. Oh my God, that's amazing. And the service, I think, is really unmatched. I think when it comes to Westborough restaurants, it's the closest thing Westborough really has to fine dining. This is something if you have, it's expensive, but if you have the money to spend and you want to go to the best restaurant, you absolutely have to go to Arturo's.
Yeah, I think it's definitely night and day, the best quality food you're going to find in Westborough. I do want to mention, though, the price is pretty hefty. So, be prepared to pay a little bit, but it's definitely worth $1, so.
Oh, absolutely. And I think one last thing about it, I think their pizza is a little bit underrated. I wouldn't say it's quite Sabatini's level, but it's very good and definitely needs to be talked about a little more.
So, for me personally, I'm just not the hugest fan of Arturo's. I feel like it's a little bit overrated. I still have it at 3.
That is...
But
I'm sorry, but that is blasphemous. You're saying that Arturo's is overrated. That's very bold of you, Drew.
So, for me personally, I have Tavolino at 1. Because I feel like they have a really balanced attack of items on their menu. First off, their pizza is solid. Their pasta is solid. That chicken cutlet pizza gets me every time. I just feel like they have a very well-balanced attack of menus or items on their menu. So, yeah, that's why I have them at 1.
The problem with you putting Tavolino's especially at 1 is you're saying that is the best,
Yeah.
You're comparing Arturo's and Tavolino's, 2 Italian restaurants. And you're going to say Tavolino's does Italian food better?
Yeah, you can't say the number 2 Italian spot.
I disagree. I think that they're similar in price, but Arturo's food is way better. Arturo's meatballs, phenomenal. Arturo's chicken parm, phenomenal. I'm not saying I don't like Tavolino's. I'm just saying that they're comparable in price, but Arturo's is better in terms of food.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think adding on to Shawn's point, if you were to take 2 items that both restaurants have on their menu, I don't think there's many options that Tavolino's does better. Probably one of the most popular Italian foods, the staple of Italian cuisine, chicken parmesan. I don't think that's close at all.
No,
the Arturo's is 10 times better, I would say.
All right, let's move on to what you guys have at 2. Shawn, what do you have at 2?
For number 2, I put Ted's. No, I just really like Ted's. Good steak, great burgers at Ted's. I don't know if you guys ever had a Ted's burger. It's probably one of my favorite hamburgers in Westborough. I just like Ted's a lot. I think it's another underrated thing about it, the ice in your drinks, the crushed ice. I prefer that to ice cubes.
I had Ted's also at number 2. It's arguably not arguably. It's the best burger in Westborough, night and day. Something they offer that's different is they offer a bison burger that's a lot different from just the normal beef you'll find in Westborough, other restaurants in Westborough. Price point is it's fair, I would say. You're getting good quality food, but it's like a scale down in price from Arturo's slightly. Yeah, it's just a great restaurant overall.
Yeah, so I also had Ted's at 2, and I liked how Tommy mentioned the bison burger. That is what I get almost every time I go there. I think it tastes a little bit better, and I think it's a little saltier, which I quite like, but I think it's just a better tasting burger, and I really like that they have the variety. And if you don't want to eat bison burger, they have the regular burger, which they do very well as well. I also quite love their milkshakes there. That's definitely something that's a high point for them as well.
Yeah, I also have them at 2, so we all have them at 2. So I think we're in agreement there. But
a consensus number 2 pick.
To add on to what you guys were saying, one thing I feel like is kind of unconventional that I would usually get there is a chicken sandwich, and that always hits for sure.
Moving on to the number 3 spot, I believe. I had Bertucci's. I know.
That is bold.
I also have a bias because I used to work there with
I also worked there.
coworker.
I still work there.
Oh yeah, you still work there. Yeah. It's not the best Italian food in town, I will say, but it is still very solid. It's not super expensive, but it's like it's just like it's an average price, I would say. You're getting good quality food. My favorite dish there is the Alfredo. It's very good. Pizza is, in my opinion, the best pizza in town. So.
That's very bold, especially coming from you. I mean, this is someone who has regularly called the restaurant Bumtucci's, so I'm very surprised to see it as the top 3 for you. But I will admit, their pizza is quite good, and I also really like the bread that they give you for the appetizers. I think that's quite a great addition.
That bread is always hitting.
If I'm being honest, that's probably my favorite part about going to Bertucci's.
Yeah. No, I'm in agreement with Tommy, though. I don't know if it's the best pizza in town, but I would say it's definitely up there. Like, for a chain Italian restaurant, it's very solid.
So, for my number 3 spot, I actually have Chengdu. I think that it's the best Chinese restaurant in town. They have just so many options, I think, that are just really great. Their pork fried rice is amazing. Beef lo mein is amazing. And I also really like their spicy seafood soup, which features lots of seafood like scallops, shrimp, fish. And I think they just have so much variety there, and they do so much very well that I think it absolutely has to be in the top 3 for me. And I also really think the service there is pretty good as well.
And then, as I said before, I have Arturo's at 3. As we already discussed, obviously not the most popular take, but for me, it's just like it's just a little bit mid, in my opinion.
That's a horrible take again. You can't call it Arturo.
You're gonna call it mid, but put in your top 3? I don't know about that, True. That doesn't seem very right.
Moving on.
So, do you guys have any honorable mentions outside of your top 3 that you think should be considered as some great restaurants in Westborough?
I think Sachi, the hibachi restaurant downtown, great restaurant. I love the steak, chicken, the shrimp there, even the vegetables. They do vegetables awesome because they cook them on the stove and they have that teriyaki sauce on them. It's like the one restaurant where I actually want to eat the vegetables.
For me, I also had Sachi in one of my honorable mentions, and another place I wanted to mention was Civic. It's a great farm to table restaurant. A lot of fresh produce that they use. The Civic burger there, great burger. Probably, in my opinion, the best burger in Westborough.
So a couple of my honorable mentions were Tavolino's, like we discussed earlier. I know I was kind of hating on it a little bit earlier, but I do quite like it. I just think it's a step below. Like we already mentioned, Arturo's. And I also really like Red Heat. I think that deserves a shout out. I think I don't know if, I know the Coop just opened up, but I still think Red Heat has the best wings in Westborough.
I think it's really a toss-up for honorable mentions for me. You have your Chengdu, you have your Tavolino's, you have your Red Heat, you have your Civic. I think Red Heat and Civic are very identical, so I'll put them in the same subcategory there. I think Tavolino's, I've been there only a couple times, but I will say each time I went there was a positive experience. So I think I can't put it higher because I haven't been there enough. Chengdu is great. I don't have any specific order, but they're all definitely restaurants worth tasting.
I want to go back to what you were saying with Red Heat and Civic. I feel like Red Heat is more of like a barbecue version of like Civic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would
Like,
agree.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Like
Yeah.
Civic is kind of more like farm to table, like fresh ingredients, and Red Heat is still the same thing, but I feel like more like barbecue oriented because they have that like oven that they cook a lot of things in.
Yeah, I agree. Do you guys want to move into? We have another category. It's called fast food. So Sean, do you want to start off your number one fast food restaurant?
Yeah, so my number one pick for fast food in Westborough is Chipotle. Now, I actually only very recently got into eating Chipotle, and I regret doing it so late because I love Chipotle. Like, it's basically Moe's, but better. And I used to eat at Moe's a lot, but it's not the best interior.
Yeah,
for
that
a
went
restaurant
real
restaurant.
downhill in
But,
the last couple of years,
uh,
unfortunately.
Chipotle is basically just an upgraded version of that, and I like the food more, so Chipotle number one.
I think it's very disrespectful to compare Moe's and Chipotle
I
personally.
would agree.
I also had Chipotle at number one. I think I recently just got into it like about a year or so ago. It's just so good. The burritos there are my favorite. Steak's great, chicken's great. Like, the one complaint I have though is I talked to my family a lot about this is they're like when you do like an online order, it can get taken so easily. They have no like verification of who it is. So like we have so many times where you just get your food taken because there's no verification at all.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, I also have Chipotle at one for me, and I think it's just like a place where you want to go and just like eat just a bunch of food and just like enjoy it. That's the place that you want to be.
I will
at, for
say
sure.
it's a very popular after gym spot as well.
Yeah,
That is
definitely.
true. So my number one, to differ from you guys, is actually Subway. I'm hearing a lot of slack, but I really love Subway. I think I get their meatball sub almost every time with provolone cheese, and I don't know, it just does it for me on Italian bread. It's great protein, and it just tastes really good. Yeah.
That's just not.
That's a
not
must-
the-
that's a musty
just
take right
just
there.
not a good take
I
right
like
there.
it.
It's a
Jake.
great
I
spot.
liked Subway. I think it was overpriced, but I would not put it at number two.
He has it at one.
Oh, number one?
Yeah. I
that's-
mean, I
yeah.
just really like.
I'm just.
Especially the one right near Staples is amazing. I know the one that closed down a couple years. It's now the Coop. That one I didn't really like that spot. That place they would not really prepare your food well. But the restaurant near Staples is an example of a Subway done right, and I think it's absolutely deserves to be number one.
I'm just.
It doesn't even sound that consistent to me
just in
either.
awe of-
You
just
can't
in
put
awe of
something at
this
number
take
one
here,
and not
Jake.
have it consistent.
Absolutely, I can because it's the best restaurant in Westborough. The other one's gone, and this is the example, the Subway done right, and absolutely number one deserves it
Alright.
for me.
Moving on. Number two, for me, I got Chick-fil-A. I mean, I think that's kind of a given.
Did
I feel
everyone
like
have Chick-fil-A as number
I
two?
feel like I don't know.
I had a three.
You, yeah.
I mean,
I'll
I
put it
feel
my
like
honorable mention.
I feel like we're kind of lucky as a town to have a Chick-fil-A in Westborough, and I mean, it's always hitting for me. Chick-fil-A sauce gotta be one of my favorite things in the world. Like just a great overall restaurant, good service. You know.
I also had Chick-fil-A at number two. It's very expensive for what it is. I think we went there about a week or two ago, and Drew dropped like a 30 bomb there.
I did.
Yeah, I dropped a 30
Well, yeah,
bomb.
because I was paying for like me and two other people.
Yeah, but you ordered $25.
I
No,
also,
30
yeah, I
is just
also
for-
did
yeah.
order a lot of food, so yeah, you're
Anyways, it's very convenient. You can drive in and go in. The managers there, very clutch. They're always very adequate with customer service. You just can't go wrong with Chick-fil-A.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the one thing I like to say about the customer service is, as nice the employees are there's one guy in particular at Chick-fil-A. I think we all know who we're talking
Oh,
about. That's
yeah.
very good with customer service. But I think it's a little overrated in that department because every time I've gone to Chick-fil-A with a group of friends, there's always at least two people who have to wait a good 15 minutes for their order.
That's a good
And-
point, yeah.
And I think that people are finished by the time they've even gotten their order. So I think the customer service aspect is very overrated.
Yeah, you're right. The last time we went there was literally two people who didn't get their order for like 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
After they had ordered it.
So my number two fast food restaurant is McDonald's. Now, look, we're talking about fast food here, so we're not talking about like, like the most nutritious of meals, and obviously McDonald's is terrible for you, but it tastes amazing, and I think that's what counts here. You know, they have so much variety. Their chicken nuggets, I don't think any place really comes close to their chicken nuggets, in my opinion, are just amazing. Burgers are great, especially the quarter pounder. They have a good chicken sandwich, and those milkshakes are, I know I mentioned this with Ted, I love a good milkshake. McDonald's has great milkshakes.
Yeah, I think anyone that says they don't like McDonald's is lying to themselves.
Absolutely.
They're just trying to be different. It's open very late. The McFlurries, I think you forgot to mention, those are also very good. I put McDonald's and Wendy's at my number 5 spot just because I think they're very variable in this term because they're open so late, and that's why I put them there. It's just because they're open so late compared to other restaurants in Westborough.
That's true. Definitely a big part of their experience.
All right, what did you guys have at number 3?
I put Burger King. And Burger King and Chick-fil-A were kind of interchangeable for me. I do not understand the hate Burger King gets. I think it's better than McDonald's. Like, I don't understand why everybody hates on Burger King all the time. Have you ever had the chicken fries? The chicken fries are good.
They're solid.
I don't know that I've ever been to Burger King.
Yeah, I've never been to Burger King.
I don't think I've ever been there.
Try Burger King.
I've been there a couple of times, but I got food poisoning the first time I went there, so I haven't really been motivated to go back. I do think it's a good place, but I wouldn't put it in the same level as McDonald's.
All right, for me, I have Jersey Mike's at 3. I know this is a new restaurant to Westborough, but damn, it is really good. Sandwiches that, like, I always get the number 8. So good. I think Tommy, you also had it. You also had it at 3.
I also had Jersey Mike's at number 3. Like Drew said, it's very new, but you really cannot go wrong with Jersey Mike's. It's a fair price point to say first. I go with the number 17, which is like a Philly cheesesteak. I like that. I get it every time. I think the number 16 is also good. Number 8 is good as well. Jersey Mike's is just a great restaurant.
So for number 3, it was a toss-up between Chipotle and Chick-fil-A, but I went with Chick-fil-A just because I think that Chipotle is extremely expensive. I went there one time with $20, got 4 tacos, and it took all 20 of my dollars. And Chick-fil-A, I think you can get like a full meal for a little bit lower price, and I think the quality of both places are pretty similar. I really like the chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A and the chicken strips there, so that's probably what I would give it the edge over Chipotle.
Jake, I feel like your issue is you're not ordering the right thing at Chipotle.
You're getting tacos.
You're ordering tacos when
Look,
you should be ordering a bowl.
It's a
or a
burrito. Yeah.
I agree. Tacos? I prefer tacos.
I'm sorry,
You
but
get tacos
if you're
at
going to
Chipotle.
say that you're a
Tacos.
Mexican restaurant and you don't put together great tacos, like why am I even going to you?
Who goes to Chipotle and gets tacos?
Who makes
I
a
do.
Mexican place that doesn't have good tacos?
Who
That
makes-
is 100% on the restaurant.
Who makes a better burrito and like the time spent you're gonna get than Chipotle?
Well, I would agree. I mean, I think their burritos are probably better than
Yeah,
anywhere
but you
else.
don't
Night
order
and day,
them.
night and day.
I like their taco. Look, I come to a Mexican place. I like tacos. If you're going to say that you have tacos on the menu, why would you not make great tacos? I mean, that's all I have to say about it.
I see your point a little bit there.
All right. Honorable mentions now.
Yeah, honorable mentions. You want to kick it off?
So for me, it was definitely Panera. I would say Panera is definitely like probably a little bit overrated, but it's definitely like in that category of like kind of like fast food, but also like a solid place where you can get a solid meal.
Too many middle school kids go there.
Yeah,
it's too
that's
annoying.
see that's
Places
the
always
issue.
packed.
High schoolers don't go there because of that.
I also had Panera as my honorable mention. The term people like to use is overpriced hospital food for Panera, which is a accurate representation. It's quality food, but like it's so expensive. I also would like to mention, I mentioned this before, but Wendy's and McDonald's. I think Wendy's is like the hot spot for people at night. It's like not talked about enough. The quality food, probably not there to be honest, but it's so clutch when you need it. The biggie bag just hits different.
That's true. Getting a Frosty at like past 11 is really nice there, but
If the frost machine's working.
that is, of course, a big factor. I also had Wendy's as an honorable mention just because, like you said, it's really only, I don't really like the food there, but the fact that it's open late definitely helps. You know, you're like, oh, what should we do? We're all hungry. Let's just go to Wendy's. You know, I'll at least get a nice, I really love their strawberry Frosties there, so I'll get that.
Drew, what's your opinion on Wendy's?
I mean, for me, like I like will go there with you guys, but like I don't really get anything there, just because like I don't know, that's just not like my style of food.
That's fair.
All right, so there's our list, everyone, and we would really appreciate if you could comment your lists down below.
We hope you enjoyed our episode. Tune in next time. This has been
The O.